The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 9 of MMA to the Max. I am your host, Robert Taylor, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, the great, the wonderful, Mr. Joe Hudson. What's up, Joe?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Spent a lot of time in the sun today. It's not really the favorite thing for my body. He doesn't really agree with sunlight, so I'm hanging in there.
Well, yeah, you are a vampire, so you got to stay out the sun.
It's not by choice. I honestly think I might have some sort of allergic reaction because every time I spend a lot of time in the sun, I get one of those stress headaches.
I think it's because people in the sun are having fun and enjoying themselves, and that's contrary to your existence, so it causes a headache. That's what I'm thinking.
That very well could be it. I do dislike seeing other people have fun, so
yeah.
You could be onto something there. That could be it. It's not the sun. It's just watching other people have fun, and that just really grinds my gears.
It really grinds my gears.
So, Joe, what are you drinking tonight? What is the beer of the week for MMA to the Max?
Lagunitas IPA.
Good old IPA. See, we're changing it up for once.
Yeah, we're not drinking, a hoppy beer. Not us.
I am also drinking Lagunitas IPA, another wonderful, wonderful brewing company.
Yeah, it's a good go-to beer, Just you're walking through trying to figure out what to get, just grab Lagunitas, man. It's easy. Yeah,
it's a California thing, I guess, when it comes to IPAs, because all the best ones seem to come from here.
That's true. There's something about the Sierra Nevada came from, California up north areas too. So I think there's some kind of like history or tradition, for California breweries. They're the best.
They absolutely are. So we are recording this late Saturday evening, well after the event ended today, which was UFC Fight Night 115, Volkov versus Struve. That started at 8:45 our time, which is Pacific Standard Time. We both woke up to watch it.
In the AM.
Yeah, in the AM. We both woke up to watch it, and I didn't regret it at all because it was an amazing card. It was really good, one of the better ones.
Yeah, from the ground up, it seemed like everybody involved in tonight's fights were really looking to finish. They wanted to make some kind of impression. Even the fights that went to decision were great decisions, great fights to decision.
And if you forgot that this fight was happening, that this card was going down, I don't blame you. It's fine. The UFC did up until Wednesday, so
they're like, "Oh wait,
do
we have a card? Oh shoot, we better do something."
Yeah, we have an MMA card coming up, an MMA event. Oh shit, I thought we were still boxing promoters.
Yeah, they're still sleeping off their hangovers from 3 nights ago, partying after making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Speaking of sleeping off hangovers from the Mayweather-McGregor thing. My co-host and I owe a huge apology to everybody that attempted to listen to that episode last week. We were a little too drunk for our own good.
Yeah, I think just a touch. So, yeah. I apologize for my interrupting, Robert. And I believe I told you, fuck you, once or twice, and I don't want you to fuck you, So we're good.
Well, somebody has to eventually, I'm hoping. I mean, might as well be me.
You can count on yourself every time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You never have a headache unless you're seeing people have fun.
But I think that might be like one of those once in a every so often situation where we're actually in front of each other watching the big fight and drinking that much. Most of the time, we're not like that. We have a few beers during the podcast, during the fights, but this was just... I don't expect it to happen again anytime soon. So
yeah, that whole thing, the Maymac was like an event. Had a couple of other families over, neighbors over, everyone over. It's more like a party with a fight going on in the background. So we imbibed a touch too much.
Yeah, and I know last week we said our beer of the week for that episode was the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull IPA. We also had the Stone Brewery's 21, which was the 21st anniversary of it.
So good.
Really good as well.
Oh, dude, Stone just makes the best beers, man, all the way around. They haven't put out anything I don't like yet. They're from their IPAs to their IPAs, and then they have a couple IPAs. They're so delicious, man.
You just can't go wrong with IPA. Even the worst IPA is a good IPA. Like I've said that before. That in my mind, that's how it is, at least.
Oh yeah, it's like, you ever had a bad pizza? Right?
Only with pineapples on it.
Yeah, it's true. That's not a pizza. That's an attempt at communism, and I don't stand for that.
Yeah, you commies need to stop putting pineapple on pizza. What is wrong with you? Stop it.
That's unconscionable.
You're as bad as the people that put ketchup on steak. Yes, those people exist.
What? They do what?
They exist. I've seen it. They exist. And
man.
They need to leave this country as soon as possible.
Yeah, I certainly couldn't sit through that. I would have to say something. I mean, A1 sauce, it makes my skin crawl, but ketchup? That's awful, dude. That's so bad.
I don't even like ketchup in the first place to begin with, but seeing it be put on steak just really gets my blood boiling.
Another thing that grinds your gears.
Another thing that definitely grinds my gears.
Yes, sir.
What doesn't grind my gears, though, is getting the main event of this fight 100% correct.
Yeah, that was pretty good, man. I was close. I had fourth round. I love Struve. As a fellow tall gentleman, myself at 6'4", we gotta stick it out together, But he's been a little bit chinny lately, even though he's been looking better and using his distance and range. I thought without that huge advantage that he normally has, Volkov would get in there with his speed and precision and overall, I think, a little bit more technical striking and put him down. I thought fourth round. But, you got that one dead on the nuts, man. Third round TKO.
Yeah, I was thinking the entire time leading up to the fight that Struve was the better fighter, at least as a complete package. And that's because his ground game is exceptional. His jiu-jitsu is exceptional.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu,
he didn't even attempt anything in terms of trying to get the fight to the ground. This basically resembled more of like a Thai boxing match than it did an MMA fight.
It did, except for in the first round, I think.
Are you talking about when he threw that knee and then
and
Volkov ended up taking him down off of it and then pounding? Yeah, aside from that.
Yeah, I was trying to remember how he got taken down and how it went down. But yeah, that was pretty good. And he threw up a triangle attempt, and he was throwing his legs up trying for something for that short time he was on his back. And Volkov was like, "Yeah, I'm not having any of this," and got the heck out of there quick and let him back up.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Struve use some more clinch work, try to push him against the cage, try to wear him out a little more, because Alexander Volkov is the better technical striker. And I think Struve, if he would have just put his back up against the cage, kind of wore out his arms a little bit, he might have had a better chance and maybe have taken it to decision. I don't know. I don't think he was going to stop Volkov with strikes. Maybe he could have got a takedown from clinch and worked his top game, but none of that happened. So Volkov, though, he looked great. As soon as he started finding his range and getting around his defenses, he was able to just tag Struve repeatedly.
Yeah, it just took him that first round to kind of, again, he's used to being the taller guy, and now he's got to deal with someone taller. How do I get into my range? How do I find his timing? And he found it. And that second round, he put on a lot of pressure. I thought it was going to end in that round, but then the third round is when he just kept backing Struve up, and getting inside and working those headshots.
Yeah, and credit to Struve, though. I mean, it's not like he got knocked out. It was just the volume of punches that he just couldn't withstand anymore. His chin hung in there. Volkov actually has some power, but yeah, Struve, his chin was hanging in there. It's looking better. I guess he's grown strength of chin. I don't know if that's even possible. Somebody could probably correct me on that. But he's taken a lot of shots and able to withstand them, which he wasn't able to do before. So credit to him. At least whatever he's doing, it's working.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't knocked out, but he got wobbled, kind of went down, and he was in a position where it'd be impossible to really get up. So the ref had to stop it at that point. Rightfully so. I mean, Struve was definitely rocked. And
oh yeah, it was over.
So,
I do feel for the guy, though. I mean, it's got to suck to lose in the main event, especially in front of your home crowd.
Yeah, it is tough, man. But he hung in there like a true fighter and took his lumps. He's going to feel bummed out, but we'll see him again for sure. He's getting better and better every fight. So
yeah, he'll stay in the top 10 of the division, of the heavyweight division. That doesn't really speak volumes of the heavyweight division rankings right now, because it is a pretty thin division.
It's super thin, man. Like, who do you got at the top? You got 4 or 5 guys, and everything after that is kind of
Yeah, I think the closest person to being able to break into that top tier is going to be Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, I do, but I think he's a little too one-dimensional. But I mean, his takedown defense is good, but I think if he gets in there with someone, Stipe will try to box with him.
I don't know if Stipe wants to try to box with him.
Yeah, but you get somebody like I'm just trying to think who's a great takedown guy in heavyweights right now. Like a Cain Velasquez or something.
If he ever
Let's
gets
say
to
Cain
that.
Velasquez.
He did call out Cain Velasquez, so that would have been exciting. He did shrug off pretty much all of the takedowns of Curtis Blades when they fought.
Correct.
But that's very inexperienced.
It's a big
Curtis
difference.
Blades, so.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Ngannou, actually, that's who I would love to see for Alexander Volkov's next fight, since the Junior Dos Santos fight is not going down next week.
Yeah.
I think you might as well just see how Volkov, what kind of injuries he's got coming off of this, and just, hey, you know what? Throw him and Francis Ngannou in there. See how it rolls. I think that's an awesome fight.
I think that could be good. I think that would be the one to test both of them. They're two like rising stars on a collision path, anyways.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because Volkov
great.
would be a striker with the technique and abilities that Francis Ngannou has not faced yet.
Correct.
And then Francis Ngannou would be somebody with the power that I don't think Volkov's faced yet,
I don't
including
think
his Bellator career.
Yeah, anyone who hasn't already faced him hasn't faced someone with that kind of power.
Yeah,
Ngannou's power is like awe-inspiring.
It speaks volume to how high we hold Francis Ngannou in regard, since we're talking about him more than we are talking about the main event fighters right now.
Yeah, no, that.
But I do feel like he's the heir apparent to the heavyweight division crown in my mind.
I agree. I see him knocking Stipe out.
Yeah. And I hate to think about that too, because I do love Stipe Miocic.
Well, you got to get Cain Velasquez off the DL so he can come in, because I think he can defend Miocic from Ngannou, right? And then he gets to fight Miocic, and Miocic wins again. You know what I mean? So we all win in this situation.
Well,
so he needs to come back out of whatever DL list he's on.
Yeah, I think we all agree, and I mean, both of us, and I think everybody out there agrees that healthy Cain Velasquez is the best heavyweight in the entire world. Unfortunately, we don't see healthy Cain Velasquez anymore, so we can never tell.
If he could have stayed healthy, Cain Velasquez, he would be in the talks for pound, even though he's a heavyweight. For sure. He'd be in talks as being a GOAT. But unfortunately, injuries are that's the hallmark of his career, or injuries, and that sucks, because he's a great fighter, man.
It's a shame. But yeah, injuries will do that to somebody. Hopefully he comes back soon, and hopefully he just picks off where he left, because I like watching Cain Velasquez fight. So.
Oh, how do you not, man? He fights like a middleweight, but he's built like a heavyweight, and he's got stamina like a flyweight. It's like, dude, come on, Yeah, he's so fun to watch.
Well, speaking of fighters fighting in front of their home crowd, why don't we talk about a fighter that didn't fight in front of her home crowd because she pulled out of the fight? Jermaine Durandamy.
Of whom we do not speak, because if we do, things just start not showing up.
She was supposed to be taking on Marion Renault tonight in a co-main event. As soon as she pulled out with another injury, don't know why. I guess I'll give her the benefit of the doubt this time, since who would want to move?
Something?
Yeah, who would want to pull out of a fight in front of their home crowd unless they had to? But stepping in on short notice, Talita Bernardo taking on Marion Renault, and for a short notice fighter, I was very impressed. At least for the first round before she gassed.
Yeah, she looked great. She was in takedowns, had top position, good top control. As Renault was going for submission, she tried a triangle in there. She was able to get out and around, and it was a great grappling match. And Bernardo looked fantastic, dude. I can't wait to see what she does with a full camp.
Yeah, before this fight, I was thinking to myself that, Marion Renault, even though she's 40 years old, still has a chance to jump up into title contention. She has the skills to do it. After this fight, though, especially with somebody on short notice, and I know that's a change in camp and a change in game plans, just that takedown defense really struck me as something that is just going to cause her a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, that was one thing. She had no takedown defense against somebody who was gassed, and short notice. And I don't know, dude. I don't. Yeah, that's going to be her Achilles heel. Yeah,
and when you get to people like Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes. I mean, you can't beat those. If you don't have takedown, I mean, disregard the fact that Amanda Nunes would light her up standing.
Yeah, I'm like, she doesn't stand a chance standing up. She'd be the
But
one
even her
having to go for the
takedowns aren't even.
takedowns.
Her takedowns are great as well. And yeah, Renault would be on her back just taking ground and pound from Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, she proves to be a great fighter, one that we appreciate watching, but maybe one that's just a little outdated. You know, there's a new regime in there, and maybe she's not capable of taking those on. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think if I was booking her next fight at least, I would put her up in a rematch for her next fight, depending on the outcome of a fight happening next week. But if Ashley Evans Smith wins next week, which I fully expect her to do,
yeah,
I'd say do this rematch because that was close. And as much as I love Ashley Evans Smith, SoCal girl, got to support the locals. I thought she lost that fight, and she should not have gotten that decision. But it was close. It was a split. Either way, I say book that if Ashley Evans Smith wins her fight next week.
Yeah, if she wins next week, she is such a better fighter than she was when they first met. I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I probably would take Smith in that rematch, but
I would take it with a finish.
Just book it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I get why you want to run that one back. I just feel like Ashley Evans Smith has progressed so much more than Renault has, so I just don't see it being competitive.
And in case anybody's wondering why I skipped the co-main event, I was gonna talk about that, but it was kind of it was for the most part a wash. Sair Bahadurzada. Pardon me.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Come on.
Jesus.
Bahadurzada. It's not that hard.
I am. I'm usually good at these names when I just got tongue twisted. I'm usually good at them. But defeating Rob Wilkinson, who stepped in on very short notice. From the very beginning, the power was just very evidently in Sair's corner.
Oh yeah.
And he cared nothing for what Wilkinson was throwing at him.
No, but Wilkinson, he hung in there, man. He's a tough guy. I mean, he took a lot of hard shots and, kept moving forward and trying to throw punches and trying to make a fight out of it, even though, again, he took the fight on very short notice. So my hat's off to him, dude. I think that's, he got knocked out, but I think he kind of won that way. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to, get another shot and be on an exciting card.
I agree. I think Wilkinson. I think he'll be better with a full training camp. I don't think he's ready to even jump into the top 20 against anybody. He definitely needs a lower end opponent. But I like him, and I like Sair calling out Matt Brown, even though Matt Brown's booked. If he wants to wait for Matt Brown, then hey, more power to you. I'd love to see that fight.
Well, yeah, he wants someone who's going to stand in the pocket and trade with him, and that's what he's going to get with Matt Brown. And who wouldn't want to see that fight, dude? I'm just thinking about it. Just visualizing in my head, Matt Brown out on his toes, picking in there, and counters coming back from Bahadurzada. Dude,
I just like seeing Matt Brown fight. I mean, he's not the greatest fighter, obviously, but he's just entertaining to watch. So that's why I think he'll probably have a job with the UFC for as long as he performs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's technically he's good. He's fun. He fights MMA like a Mexican boxer. He moves forward like the undead.
Did you say that just to do a callback to last week?
What?
Did you say that just to do a callback to last week?
Of course not.
Uh-huh.
You find me that clever?
So, I know what you're doing, and I don't like it. I made a promise that we won't talk about it anymore. All right, but moving on down the card.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there anyway, so that's good.
It's all right. It's all right. It happens, especially when I cut you off with that.
Yep.
Leon Edwards looked great in the first and third round against Brian Barberena, who makes it a habit to stop hype trains and halt people's momentum. He almost did it in the second round when he dropped Edwards with that sneaky uppercut. But Edwards just looked fantastic. His striking, his takedowns, his ground game, his back control was amazing. I'm liking where Edwards is going.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that. That's exactly what it was. He looked impressive. Yeah, and I picked Barberena in this is because he's the hype train killer. Like that's what he does. So I'm like, all right, dude, he's gonna do it again. Like he always steps up to the occasion. But I mean, Barberena's chin and heart kept him in there because he took some heavy shots. And he just kept moving forward. trying to hang in there, and he tried to win the third round at the end. He really tried to come back, with that last little bit of gas he had in him. I had it scored the same as all the judges, and it was fun to watch Leon Edwards just kind of pick Barberena apart in the end of the second and third round.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely had it 29-28 for Leon Edwards. I'm glad the judges got it right. Here's an interesting statistic for anybody that just doesn't see Edwards as that good. He's 6-2 in the UFC. His only 2 losses are to Kamaru Usman by decision because he just got taken down and held down, and Claudio Silva by a split, which I didn't agree with the decision. I thought Edwards got it. But he's 6-2. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He's beaten great fighters like Albert Tumanov and Vicente Luque. And now Brian Barberena. The man is on the move. People need to start taking notice because he's got a full package.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I think he's just sharpening his tools from fight to fight. Obviously, 4-fight win streak, but he's not stagnant. He's definitely growing, and he's going to get better and better. I see him being up in the top 10 soon.
He could. I think he has the tools to at least get a fight with a top 10 fighter for sure. We'll see how he competes when he gets that fight.
Yeah, I think he can be competitive there, and that'll really be the test for him to see if he belongs up or he just got lucky. But
I agree. So going from one decision though to the next.
Yeah.
Darren Till decisions. Let's see if I can do this correctly right now. I usually know how to, but it's Bohan Velekovic, I believe is how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. Anybody want to correct me? It's hard to remember how to pronounce these names sometimes when we record so much later after the fight ended and we've been doing other things. But I think that's close enough. And I can't be the only one thinking that Darren Till could have finished this fight at any time.
It seemed like it, but I'm speechless on why it didn't happen.
That elbow in the first round that he just threw all of his weight into and he just dropped Bohan was vicious. But he didn't throw any. He kind of just laid there admiring his work without throwing anything afterwards.
I think he thought he was going to be knocked out or something, or like it was a walk-off, or he was in, kickboxing rules, so he couldn't get on top of him. Oh, crap, that's right. But yeah, it was a fun fight, though. Like, decision or not, the judges had it 100% right. Till dominated that fight, but it was still fun to watch.
I think Bohan could have got that second round. I was kind of scoring it 29-28 for Till, but 30-27 still worked with me.
Yeah,
just because Till he wasn't really doing much in the second round, but he was getting lit up on the legs, and oh my God, his right leg looked nasty.
Oh yeah, it was hurting him a little bit, but it didn't seem to bother him in the third. But yeah, he was looked like someone hit him in the leg with a baseball bat a couple times.
Oh man, it was he wasn't checking anything for the longest time.
No, and I don't get that.
Yeah, but now he's 15. He has 15 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw with Nicholas Dalby in the UFC. He's on his way up. I don't know if I'm going to throw him in the top 10 yet.
No, not
for
yet,
a fight, but man, with his striking, his head movement, he has a chance against a lot of the top strikers in the division.
Yeah, put him against Leon Edwards.
I'd love to see that. That's a great call right there.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, dude, this is like a tournament that's spread out. Here you go, old Bjorn Remney style. Let's do it. You guys run the same card. But yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be a good
same
fight.
Same card,
too.
One fight separated. Yeah, Edwards versus Darren Till. I'm all on board with that. Throw it. Might as well do it. There's no other reason not to.
Yeah, a top 10 position is on the line. Go.
Exactly. There you go. Or at least top 50. Maybe they're working their way.
Yeah, you got to throw a really high bone, and then if they don't really perform, they go, okay, look, I told you top 10, but it's going to be top 15 because you were too scared.
I do like both of them. Yeah, and I do like that fight. I do like that you threw that out.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Either way, man, that was a fun fight tonight. It was a really great card. When you get a lot of these guys who are, I don't want to say no-namers, but for us, no-namers for most people, and it's like they step up, These are the guys who are still trying to make their way. They're not trying to call out money fights and do that. They're trying to get to that position. And
it's usually the best cards, right? The ones that go unnoticed that people don't pay attention to are usually the best cards.
100%, dude. Because you got these guys, they're still hungry. They're not eating at the big kids' table yet, where they try to put their balls on the line, or not put their balls on the line and just pick money fights, or not fight. Hey, I got to win this because I got to get my 50 and 50. You know what I mean? So they're more fun to watch because they're going for that 50,000 knockout of the night bonus or performance of the night bonus. Think about it. If you're making 8 and
No,
8,
I agree, and I like that you mentioned that because that's a great segue into our next fight, which is which got one of the performance of the night bonuses, and rightfully so because he threw one punch. Mirbek Tysonov knocks out Felipe Silva with one punch. Silva ran after him, throwing the right, but he left his left hand down, which was perfectly set up by the counter right that Tysonov threw, and just one punch out. Mark Hunt style walk-off.
Yeah, dude, it was so pretty. Silva, I feel bad for him because he got hit hard, but he just went down like face plant, like he was trying to, slide into home plate. Just it was so.
I like how when he lifted his head, he kind of looked over, like, did that just happen? He was out.
He's like, wait. As a person who's been concussed before, there's that little time lapse between what really happened and when you wake up, and it all feels like it was a dream. So he's like, wait, where am I?
Yeah. Well, crazy. Maybe this will be a learning experience for Silva to not wait in throwing that right and leaving your left hand down. You got to keep that left hand up. You got to keep that other hand up at all times. Protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that counter. That's why it's there.
But Tysonov, man, 5 in a row. 5 in a row, all stoppages by strikes. 3 knockouts, 2 TKOs. His only loss in the UFC is to Michel Prazeres by decision. He was kind of just grounded the entire fight. But, he looked great. He's calling out everybody. I did love his post-fight speech. Yeah. Especially the part where he talked about Nate Diaz thinks he's the best. He smokes too much.
Yeah, he's like, I think he smoked too much.
Yeah,
Dude,
it was great.
So funny.
It's like
so
this guy's.
True.
It's just, I love when the Russian fighters talk shit in their accent. That's why I love Khabib Nurmagomedov talking shit so much. It just sounds so awesome when they talk shit, just for their accent.
Sounds like
or something.
they mean it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like,
It's something about that accent.
I come to fuck you and make you pay.
Like Khabib,
I
he's
will
like,
break you.
I deserve this. You know this. Just give up. To Michael, it's so great. It's so great. And I think Tysonov, depending on how many people watch this, or at least how many people are going to watch the highlights on the UFC Instagram and Facebook pages, I hope he gets more fans. I hope people are clamoring to see him again.
Fun.
He's a great fighter. He's one of the best in the world. He's going to be in the top 10 soon.
Yeah, and you speak of his last loss. That was the preceding fight.
Another great segue. We're doing awesome on these tonight. But yeah, Michel Prazeres defeating Mads Burnell with his second North-South choke finish in the UFC. And I was texting you during this fight.
Oh yeah,
telling you how much I enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite fights of the night just because of the groundwork, the jiu-jitsu on display from both men. Even though Burnell was on the bottom the entire time, his transitions and everything were just great to watch. It was amazing to watch. I love watching high-level grappling in the UFC or Bellator or any promotion.
Yeah, Burnell was doing a great job. He, the first you learn how to survive, then you learn how to defend, and then, you learn how to attack. And he was definitely on the high end of defending. He probably would have been attacking, but Michel was just that 1 degree better. And kept jumping from half guard to side to half, and kind of kept working his way there. And I think that tired Burnell's legs out, and I think he knew that was going to happen. Kept switching guards because he'd get mount, but then he would slip back in a half guard. Sometimes it almost seemed like he was letting him. I think that maybe that was a strategy or not, but watching the transitions and the scrambling, we were both just like beautiful jiu-jitsu on display there.
Yeah, it was definitely great to watch. And the only issue, though, is Prazeres missed weight. Came in at 159.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. I never go for people who miss weight. I did pick him via submission in this fight, too, but yeah, you can't miss weight, man. He's huge.
It's fine to pick him in the in our fantasy league that we have, but you can root for him to do that. But yeah, I wasn't rooting for him to win on a personal level just because he missed weight, and it's his second time missing weight in the UFC.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there that call for other people's heads to move up when it's 2 times in a row. I don't think he should. There's got to be something going on, but I don't know, man. It's 2 times in 3 fights.
Yeah, he's too small for welterweight too.
Yeah,
Like
but
he's got to
he's
figure
just
something
stocky.
out.
He's got like that Gleason T-Bow build to him, but T-Bow managed to make weight every time.
Yeah, I think T-Bow had bigger legs, was more proportioned too. But I don't know, maybe he's just carrying around like lead in those biceps. That's why his north-south choke is so killer.
He could be onto something there, but Brazeris is on a 5-fight win streak as well. His last loss coming to Kevin Lee, who will be fighting for the interim lightweight title in October.
So excited for that fight.
That's going to be a great fight. Anybody sleeping on Lee is ignorant.
Look, I told you I wasn't sleeping on Lee. He's phenomenal. I just think that El Kukui is a touch more phenomenal. That's all.
No, that's fine. That's fine. El Kukui should definitely be the favorite, and for good reason. But anybody that sleeps on Lee and says he doesn't deserve it, get out of my face with that shit.
Yeah, because you look at strength of schedule, right, who they fought before, and you're kind of like, he hasn't fought all those great people. He hasn't done all this stuff. Look at Chiesa. That was my thing. Chiesa's fought these higher pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
He should beat him, right? And then nope, he goes in there and takes him out in the first round. Yeah. I said the same thing.
And while I
about
didn't
Gaethje.
agree with the stoppage, it was still it was going to happen eventually. So it was a good win.
Yeah, I understand Mario Yamasaki. I mean, your guy's fighting hands. He stops and he has his hands just relaxed there. It looked like he went out.
Yeah, I could see it, but with submissions, you got to let the guy go out completely.
If they're not tapping, you got to let them go out completely.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly. That's a tap or snap. That's just the way it is. Honestly, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, the reason why I brought up his 5-fight win streak as well is because, like previously mentioned, he was the last guy to beat Mirbek Tysonov. Both on 5-fight win streaks now. Run it back. I think run it back, because you got to let Tysonov have a chance to get that win back, or maybe Brazeris stops the hype again. You never know. I say run it back,
dude. I told you we're doing the whole Bjorn Remnick thing, right? There's a lightweight going on here. There's a welterweight, shit going on here too.
Yeah, we're doing.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to look. I'm like, there are featherweights going on here. The people on the same tier of the.
Oh, we'll get to a featherweight here. We'll get to a featherweight.
Yeah.
Who's in my opinion one of the best prospects at featherweight. But the next fight though, we'll go to another Russian. Like, dude, Russians. Everybody's talking about the Irish taking over. What about the Russians? And everybody forgets about the Russians and the Dagestanis. They've been taking over a lot longer. It's just one of the Irish was pushed a little more than some of the Russians. But
because we think his little accent and Lucky Charms are cute.
Yeah, they find his accent exciting, but they're scared of the Dagestani and Russian accent. But Rustam Khabilov, decisions. Desmond Green, I agree with the decision. I had it 29-28 for Khabilov. I don't agree with the fact that this is like Khabilov's 4th or 5th wrestler in a row. It's not giving him the chance to show off what makes him so great, which is his sambo, because the wrestlers are neutralizing it. And I know that's a really greedy way to look at things, but you got to put him in there with some of the striking specialists so he can get his sambo going and get the crowds to pop for what he's doing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, you basically took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, Desmond Green's great. He came over from Bellator, had a decent run over there, never won the title. He's a pretty good top 15 fighter, top 20. Khabilov, though, is so much better than him, but because of the styles, wasn't able to show how much better.
Yeah, maybe that was the attempt to see if he can still have an exciting fight with someone who stylistically is going to kind of stifle what makes him exciting.
I just go back to that Vince Pinchel fight where he's just suplexed. It was Suplex City, man. Just suplexed the hell out of him. But I mean,
that was pre-USADA.
Well, he is on a 5-fight win streak as well. Also in the lightweight division. Jesus, these lightweights are going crazy right now.
Yep.
I mean, so if they wanted to put him against the striker, they could put him against Tysonov. So you never know.
Yeah, that could work.
Why not? But I think Khabilov deserves somebody in the top 15 late. Not late, sorry. the back of the top 10 maybe. He did go 4 rounds with Ben Henderson in his first main event, which is only his fourth fight in the UFC. He looked okay until getting choked out, but still, five straight wins. He's 22-3. Give him somebody better. Give him somebody higher. He deserves it. And he trains with the Eagles, so you know he's good.
Yeah, well, he's good for it, man. He's good for it. Yeah. Now, 100%. Let's move him up in the rankings. Let's see how he does with the top 15.
Now, somebody else who I'm down with moving up in the rankings. I'm going to skip the next fight, everybody. Sorry. Alexander Raychik defeats Francimar Barroso by decision. The fight was whatever. I was surprised that Raychik's gas tank lasted so long coming on short notice. I picked him by first round knockout because that's what I figured he'd win by, and I just am not a fan of Francimar Barroso. He's boring, and the less said about the fight, I was not excited about this fight.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Especially because it came after the greatness of Zabit Magomed Sharipov. Holy crap.
Try that
Magomed
again.
Sharipov, man. Yeah, I got it now. Magomed Sharipov is like a cross between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Anthony Pettis. And if anybody missed this fight, this card, this is the fight that I want you to go seek out and see. Because this guy, Frankie Edgar has been talking about him for a long time now, saying he's the future. He's the future. This guy's good.
Yep, he's very good.
He defeats Mike Santiago of Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series fame, I guess, if you could call it that. Was anybody really watching that?
That's fame?
Defeats him by second round submission, but that doesn't tell the full story if somebody saw the result. But Magomed Sharipov tore him apart striking. He was throwing everything at him. Spinning back fists, spinning wheel kicks, Showtime kick off the cage. If you missed this, guys, go check it out, please. Please go check this guy out.
Yeah, he put on a striking clinic, man. It was pretty.
It was more than pretty, man. It was getting me amped up just watching the man. It was like, oh, I was stoked.
Yeah, it's one of those. What's going to happen next? Is this one going to land clean? Is this to be the one that drops him? Is spinning back fist coming? Yeah, the old Showtime Pettis. That's a great way to put it. But what's going to happen to him? If he starts getting walked down, can he fight off his back foot? That's one of the things that Pettis is having to learn how to do.
Might have to put him up against somebody that can do that. He did call out Artem Lobov, and that is somebody that will do that. As much as I don't like Artem Lobov,
exactly do that. Yeah.
If he wants Lobov, give him the fight. Because if there's one thing you can say about Artem, his fights are usually exciting. He will walk down and take shots and throw shots. He'll probably lose, but it'll be exciting, and we'll see what Magomed Sharipov is all about. He called him out. Let's do it. I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's a really good fight. That's a good call out because I think that's going to challenge his style. So that's really good. Turn it into a brawl. Can he brawl? Can he out brawl a brawler like Lobov? Because that dude does hit pretty hard, but he takes a lot of damage. Yeah,
I would love to see the fight because, like you said, he hits hard. He takes a lot of damage. I think he'd be one of those more stationary targets for Magomed Sharipov to throw more of his kicks, but I don't think they'll hurt. I hate praising Artem, man, but there's this funny thing going online right now where there's like this underground build right now about how everybody's talking about how Artem Lobov is the greatest, the GOAT, and I think it's hilarious.
That's not real, right?
Well, it's obviously satire, but it's funny.
I hope so. I mean, look, dude, he's a fun guy to watch fight. Give credit where credit's due. He's fun to watch fight, man. He's got an iron chin. He takes whatever damage you throw his way, and he just keeps moving forward, throwing punches, eating punches. That's fun. Who doesn't like to watch that?
I agree.
Again, I'm not going to pull for him in fights. Like, again, I don't think he's a bad person or whatnot, but, But if there's an Artem Lobov fight, I'll watch it. I'll watch Cub Swanson pick his face apart for 5 rounds. No big deal.
Yeah, so moving on to the next fight. Abdul Karim Edilov defeating Bohan Milochovic by second round TKO. And this is another fight that just wasn't even close. And Edilov was making his debut tonight, and he looked amazing. He looked crisp.
Yeah, that's the exact word I was going to use. I'm thinking the best way to describe it is his punches were crisp, man. Didn't overwind up. They were coming straight off his shoulder. His movement, he looked great tonight, man. Crisp. That's the exact word I was thinking was crisp.
It's like I'm in your head.
Like you're in my head, man. Oh, another callback.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, man, I believe he's the brother of the Chechen president.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was an interesting thing. Ramzan Kadyrov, I believe is pronounced it. But yeah, he's the brother of the Chechen president, which is really cool.
Well, he's a good liberal guy, the Chechen president, right? I mean, he cares about people and individuality and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, I don't know much about. I don't know much about that place, man. It was just a nice little factoid for everybody to digest on. Something to just throw it out there so we act like
doing.
Yeah, something
Brian.
so that they could be like, oh, okay, cool.
Now Brian Stan quits, and you're like, dude, he would research all the fighters. He would know everything about them all the time, man. I better step a game up, dude. I can try to.
Yeah, if I'm gonna
replace
take his place, I got to do something to stand out, right?
Yeah, you gotta do more research than he did. Best of luck to you, buddy.
Oh God, I am gonna. Yeah. So that news came out this week, and that makes me sad. I'm gonna miss Brian Stan.
Oh, totally, dude. He was the most professional analysis. Again, always knew the fighters. Like, talked to them, what they were going through. Gave all of them like a little story, and that's what you use to build a star, is a story to relate to, you know. And he did all that, and his technical analysis was spot on every single time. Dude, the guy knows what he's talking about, obviously.
Yeah, we talked about Dominic Cruz before, how we think he's great because he explains everything about the fight game. Brian Stan does too, but in a more entertaining way, in my mind.
Yeah, Dominic Cruz is so analytical. He gets in there, he's almost like robotic. You know what I mean? Like factual. And I think Brian Stan,
which isn't bad because it's fun to listen to it.
Great.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, because you learn that way. You know what I mean? Like, you learn, like, look, when this is positioned, this is what you want to do. Like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I understand how this works now. You get that from Stan, but you also got a little bit more emotion behind things as he would fill in a little bit with, on the color. Yeah, he's going to be missed, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with Chael Sonnen. I'm going to vote for the man if he runs for president.
Oh, yeah, without question, dude.
Chael Sonnen says he's going to run for president. He's almost sure that he's going to do it eventually, and I'll vote for him.
Yeah, he's a real American hero, dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, I love Brian Stan. His last fight before retirement with Vanderlei Silva was legendary in my mind. One of the best fights of all time.
It was a fun slugfest, dude.
It was great. It was like an old school Vanderlei Pride fight, just back and forth. Jesus, it was so good.
Yeah. Let's stand inside a phone booth and see who can knock who out first.
Yeah, Brian Stan, former WEC light heavyweight champion. Sucks he couldn't get up to that level in the UFC, but the talent level at the time was just too high.
Always got to bring up the WEC days, huh? Get all nostalgic.
Yeah, well, we are WEC followers, man. We're big WEC guys here on this show.
It was best, dude. It was on the Outdoor Network. It was on the Outdoor Network. Network had MMA. That's
it was on. Wasn't it also? Didn't it eventually also become Speed, the Speed channel? I think it was.
Did it?
Yeah, it became the Speed channel before it was bought out. The UFC bought it out, and it was just a bunch. It was on a bunch of different channels.
Yeah,
the name of the channel kept changing, which is really funny.
Yeah, I just knew it was on channel 57, so I was good. That's all I had to do.
Okay, so the last fight of the night was T-Ball Goatee defeating Andrew Holbrook by TKO. I had Holbrook winning by submission, even though I recognize the fact that his chin is gone, and the only way that Goatee was going to win was by the way he won. And Holbrook, I don't think lasts in the UFC after this. His chin's gone. I think he's released. Goatee got his first win after 3 losses straight in the UFC, so congratulations to you.
Yeah, man, hats off to him. Holbrook, I liked you, buddy. You were fun, but you got to take some time off or something. You got to let that chin heal a little bit more because, yeah, he's way too chinny these days. And it doesn't seem necessarily just shop-worn because the rest of him's there, his speed, his timing, and all that stuff, but he just gets clipped in the chin a little bit and he's down.
Yeah, which is crazy because 2 fights ago, before this, he just came off the biggest upset on at least the card, defeating Jake Matthews, which I didn't see happening because Jake Matthews was a prospect who's also kind of not living up to his billing. But he has Andrew Holbrook's 12-3 right now. All 3 are by knockout or TKO. There's something going on with his chin, so he needs to just take some time off.
Yeah, I think so. Regroup a little bit.
Especially with his only 2 UFC wins being split decisions. So I don't see the UFC hanging on to him.
No, let him go. Give him some time. Go into one of the other organizations or local organization. Get your chin back, and we'll see what happens. Because he's a good fighter.
Drop down to LFA. Yeah, drop down to LFA and see how that handles. It's the UFC feeder league. But we were talking about Brian Stann. I just want to give a quick recognition and shout out to John Gooden and Dan Hardy, who are fast becoming my favorite announced team in the entire UFC.
Yeah, I was thinking that today, how privileged I was to be able to listen to them. I like it when they do it, man. Their chemistry and, again, knowledge and
it's the chemistry.
Fighters. Yeah, they're like buddies just sitting there kind of watching the fight together.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's great. Yeah, John Gooden knows his stuff, and I dare say he knows it more than John Anik does. So, and then with Dan Hardy, Dan Hardy's just a little more colorful than Brian Stann or Dominic Cruz, but he's not as analytical as either of them, but he's more colorful, which makes it a little more entertaining. I love Dan Hardy. I didn't like him as a fighter, but love him as a color commentator.
I liked him as a fighter. Again, he was the same way. He was a motion-driven fight. It was good. It was fun. He was always moving forward and kept fighting. Like when he fought George St. Pierre and got in 17 different arm bars and never tapped, just kept on going.
Yeah, but never tapped. But come on, that's because of George being so nice. He could have snapped that arm.
Yeah, he said, "Now I will try to break their bones."
Yeah, he could have snapped that arm in no time.
It seemed like it, dude. He had it deep a couple times.
Well, sticking with the welterweight division real quick, before we move on to previewing next week's card, the big pay-per-view, at least big in my mind. If you don't think it's big by looking at that card, I don't know what to tell you, because it's more stacked than people want to admit. Sure, maybe not to the casuals, but if you listen to the show and you're a hardcore fan, that's a stacked pay-per-view.
Dude, but, how could you not say this is a great pay-per-view? All the way down the card, each one of these fights are great. They don't like Mighty Mouse. Like, the casual fan doesn't. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. But before we move on to that, I just want to shout out to good old Funky Ben Askren. 17-0. He dominated again to retain his ONE FC welterweight championship. God, talk about a missed opportunity with this talent. His wrestling is so good, he could give a lot of the top welterweights problems. A ton of problems, and he just got into it with Dana White, and so Dana White's like, this guy's never fighting for me.
And because he got into it with money, the way he treated fighters. I mean, he stood up for fighters.
Yeah, again, I'm not disagreeing with Askren. The whole time all that crap was going down, I was just like, dude, I wanted, I get it. Just get into the organization, right? Kill it from the inside. Come on. Let me see you fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
But in the end, everybody inside that ring with him in ONE doesn't belong there.
None of them do.
I mean, there's only about a handful of people on Earth that do.
But, hey, you know what?
UFC.
He's making a lot of money to beat up on cans. More power to him. I do the same thing.
Didn't Floyd Mayweather just do that last weekend?
We're gonna move on because I made a guarantee that I wasn't gonna talk about it.
I didn't make any guarantee, my friend.
We're not doing it. Nope, no.
All right, I'll give you this.
But Ben Askren is one of those cases that I point to when people ask me why I want Dana White gone. I love Dana White, what he's done for the company. I know we've talked about this before, but people like Ben Askren and even Paul Daly, even though he was rightfully released and banned for what he did after the Josh Koscheck fight, he served his time. He's one of the top guys, at least top 15, top 10 in the world right now. He should be back in the UFC. Put the best against the best. But as long as Dana White's around, it's not going to happen.
And he holds personal grudges and all that crap, and it does mess it up.
Yeah. And it's why Frank Shamrock's probably never going into the UFC Hall of Fame, which is a big shame.
Yeah, that's a travesty.
The first mixed martial artist in MMA history, in my mind. A lot of people's mind.
Sure. 100%. He had legit striking. He had legit grappling. His leg locks were insane. Like, come on, dude. He was legit all the way around. He was a true mixed martial artist.
Frank Shamrock's fight, his title defense against Tito Ortiz, where he just let Tito take him down and beat on it and gas out before finally submitting him.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
It was great.
So smart.
It was so smart. It's such a great game plan and tactic. It just reminded me about something else recently, but we're not going to talk about it.
It was like an MMA rope-a-dope.
Yeah. Kind of like what somebody else did, but...
I told you that we only know what happened 2 weeks ago and this week. We don't know about anything in between.
Exactly.
We don't know anything about. I guess we'll get to that at some point too. But man, some people I know's pee is on fire, and then their blood
seems to be okay. Yeah.
Right.
We'll probably talk about that, but I do want to get into what is one of my most anticipated cards of the year. UFC 215. I'm upset that we lost Dos Santos versus Ngannou. It's okay, though, because we got the GOAT.
Dos Santos, I don't want Dos Santos to get beat up anymore, man.
We got the GOAT. Going for the record. GOAT. The GOAT. The clean GOAT. The man that hasn't had any problems with USADA or anything before USADA.
Nope.
Clean GOAT, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, going for title defense number 11. That is the record.
Dude, and the best thing is he's going to be the first and only as long as he continues to fight at 125. Like, Buffer needs to announce him that way. The first and only.
That would be great.
I'll hit him up on Twitch and let him know, hey, dude, you should have Bruce introduce you this way.
That'd be great. It would be funny if he acknowledged that. But he is the greatest, in my mind, at least skill-wise. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson defending his flyweight championship against Ray, the Taz Mexican Devil Borg. Kind of sucks that his middle name wasn't Psy. I don't know. That would have been dumb, but clever.
Yeah.
At least
there's not a lot of cyborgs in jiu-jitsu or MMA, so
but
it would have been cool.
Yeah, so Mighty Mouse is going to absolutely destroy Ray Borg. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. He'll finish him in round 2.
With submission or strikes?
With a rear naked choke.
You think he's going to beat him up? He's going to go for a sloppy takedown?
Oh, he's going to destroy Ray Borg, and I like Ray Borg. I do. I always have. Mighty Mouse is going to annihilate him. It's not even going to be close.
So does Mighty Mouse stay at 125 and say,
no,
TJ, Cody, come on, come get me. Come on, you think you're so bad? Come get me. That's what I think he does.
I don't think he stays at 1. He's already got the record. I think he's going to go for that bantamweight title now. And I think he's going to do it because he's going to step into the cage at UFC 217 in November after the Cody Garbrandt-TJ Dillashaw fight. He's going to step in and challenge the winner, and they're going to set that up for Super Bowl weekend. That's been my prediction.
Oh, man, you're giving me like crazy goosebumps thinking about that setup, dude.
It's on lock.
That's
man.
WWE style right there, man.
I don't see how they don't do that. He's going to break the record. He has nothing else to prove. If he wants to hold on the title, that's fine. The chances of somebody breaking an 11 title defense record is astronomical.
It's probably not going to happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, it probably won't happen. So just vacate the title.
With the level of the sport now and the level of the athlete in the sport.
Yeah, break the record, vacate the title, walk in Madison Square Garden after Cody and TJ, challenge the winner. There's your Super Bowl weekend pay-per-view in Vegas. That is money.
Yeah, don't relinquish your title. Say, look, Dana, I've cleaned out this division. Come get me some challengers. In the meantime, I'm going up here to whoop some ass.
Yeah, let him go for what Conor did. If he doesn't, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to talk about last week, but I am going to bring this up. If he beats Ray Borg, when he beats Ray Borg, and he gets that record, that 11 title defenses in a row record, and Dana does not let him go for 2 titles at once, when he let Conor, who hadn't even defended a title, do it, and I know, Conor makes money. I don't care. I care about the sport side of everything. Then that's bullshit. Well, and that's gonna scream to why I hate Conor so much. He's ruining the sport. And it's the favoritism. If he does not let Mighty Mouse do it after cleaning out division, breaking a record, I just don't know. I wouldn't know what to say anymore. That would be asinine. It would be ridiculous.
And again, Demetrius truly has cleaned out the entire division. With Conor McGregor, there were featherweights who were right in line for another shot. Frankie Edgar, for instance.
Yeah, they didn't want to even put him anywhere
Mendez,
near
he beat
Frankie.
Aldo, so give him Frankie Edgar.
They weren't going to put Conor anywhere near Frankie.
Of course not. And Cub Swanson right there. You know what I mean? I mean, those are two guys right there that he didn't clear out and that are clearly top 5 for a reason, right? But no, he got to move up and do all the shenanigans that he did to become the first, 2-division champ. I mean, that's cool and all, but yeah.
And I mean, as much as I disagreed with it, I got it because it was their first event at Madison Square Garden. They needed a big name. What's bigger than Conor? What's bigger than Conor going for 2 titles in 2 different weight classes at the same time? I got it. I got it. I didn't agree with it, but I get it. That's a lot of money. Yeah. But if you're not going to let Mighty Mouse do the same thing after he breaks the record, the bias is clear. And anybody that disagrees with Mighty Mouse being able to do that while supporting the fact that Conor did that, you don't have anything to say to me. Honestly. Your bias is clear.
It'd be something, dude. Demetrius is the GOAT. The greatest, the pound-for-pound GOAT. Like, nobody beats him. So, yeah, again, he cleaned out his division. I'm the one and only, flyweight champ. One and only. That's it. I beat everybody up. I'm going to go up here and do the same thing. I'm going to go up here and beat everybody up. And then when you do whatever you got to do, Dana, bring me a real challenger. Dude, like, that's the best. That's the best.
Yeah, let him go up to bantamweight and challenge for the title. Maybe I would pick him to win the title and defend there while they build up a challenger in the flyweight division.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best. And he's got to call Dana out. He's been, way more assertive and
like signing a Jose Shorty Torres or something.
Yeah, and let Shorty. That's so true. And let Shorty whoop some people asses, and then they'll be like, "Well, is he ready for Demetrius? Let's find out." Of course, he's going to whip everybody's ass, and then plus he's got to get into the UFC, get a couple wins under his belt, let Shorty's name get bigger in the UFC fan base, and then build him, make a little star out of him. Fucking. He and DJ go for it. That'd be fun as fuck.
It would be great. It would be fantastic. But moving on from the GOAT and my favorite fighter, we're going to go down to the co-main event. Hopefully it happens this time. Amanda Nunes defending her bantamweight championship against the rightful number 1 contender, Valentina Shevchenko. This is the rematch that we were supposed to get back in July on the Romero-Whitaker card.
The inaugural MMA to the Max show.
That is absolutely right. That was our very first show. We were supposed to preview this on our first show. Review it on our first show. It looks like we're going to review it on our 10th show.
That's right.
I like how that worked out. Last time when we were talking about the fight, how it got canceled, we kind of made predictions how we thought it was going to go. I still have Shevchenko 4th round TKO.
I'm Shevchenko decision. I think after round 2, middle of round 3, she just starts pouring it on her stand-up and her takedown defense. And when she gets some takedowns of her own, it's just the Amanda Nunes gas tank issue. I'm counting on that. And then Shevchenko is that good, and there's a striker. She's going to be able to stay away from Nunes. And I don't see Nunes trying to go for a takedown anymore. So I think Shevchenko, she ends up controlling the fight from the 3rd round on.
Yeah, see, I think Shevchenko's the better striker. I think Nunes has the better power, though. So
agreed.
If she could stay away from power, but she did great in the first fight. She was taken over. I think she would, like I said, I think she would have finished her in that 4th round if it was a 5-round fight the first time. So that's why I'm going to stick with 4th round this time.
No, I can see that. I just think Nunes has gotten a little bit better since then. But yeah, that's tough to argue with. I just think
it's very possible.
Distance. But yeah, either way, and I think. On the UFC Pick'em League, Shevchenko's the favorite. And I don't know if that's because there's enough people who are really analyzing it. I feel like some people don't like Nunes.
A lot of people don't like Nunes, which is really weird. Okay, I get if you don't like her because she pulled out of that fight. Giving her the benefit of doubt, but either way, if you don't like her for that, that's fine. But I feel like other people don't like her because she started talking more, which I don't get because they're the same people that were supporting Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor talking more.
Yeah.
But when Amanda Nunes does it after just starching Ronda Rousey, you hate her for it. You think she's getting cocky? Of course she should be cocky. She just took out the Golden Girl in like 45 seconds.
Yeah, and she's stomping on everybody else in her way.
Yeah, I mean,
go.
she won the title in the main event of UFC 200, one of the biggest events of the year, and starched one of the biggest stars in the UFC history in 45. It wasn't even close. Yeah, she should be talking. Everybody was talking about. I mean, she was the underdog in that fight. I'd be pissed.
Yeah, and there was no promotion for her whatsoever.
Yeah, so what is she supposed to do?
Everything about that fight was about Ronda.
Yeah, and her big comeback.
Yeah.
Even though Nunes is champion, of course she's going to talk. I'd be cocky too. Like, screw everybody. You were talking about Ronda. What happened? 45 seconds. I'm already paid. Get out of here.
No, exactly, dude. Exactly. She's a great person. She's a nice person, a phenomenal fighter, fun to watch. I don't get why more people don't like her. Again, I like Shevchenko more, but I don't understand. Like, I feel like people don't like Nunes, and not just from pulling out from that.
They just don't. Yeah, that's it.
And I don't get that. Like with some fighters, you can kind of get why people don't like them, or they're not. You know, they should be a star, but it's not building. Like, she should be a star. Like, she's an all around good package, but for whatever reason, people don't like Nunes.
Yeah, they need to. In the UFC, if they really want to tap into a big market that to get people, more fans, they need to use Nunes as champion and start tapping into the lesbian community.
Yeah, why not?
I know people out there just don't want to hear about that. So, we don't want to hear if they're lesbian. Just live your life. Yeah, okay, they exist. The community exists. Tap into it. That's how marketing works.
Well, think about it. Okay, we talk about how Sam Alvey's wife is there in his corner. Like, so because Amanda Nunes' wife is a woman instead of a husband, you can't say, oh, Nunes' wife or Nunes' girlfriend's in her corner because she is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't want to hear about it. You know how it is.
Yeah, but it's like that's how you name them. It's not like they're out there making, we are lesbians, we do this for lesbian pride. She's just a normal person.
But okay, she's just
fighter.
Exactly. But I think the UFC would be smart to market that she is the lesbian champion. I think the first openly gay champion. That is a marketing tool. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, I don't want you. Why you got to shove that down her throat?" No, it's how marketing works. They're trying to market her to that community, the gay community, to try to get them to start watching. That is business 101. That's
Absolutely.
Smart. Yeah. So some people might not like it, but it's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's why people who don't like it.
I'm really disappointed they haven't done it. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they would too. But hopefully, they haven't marketed this fight this way. But maybe it's not marketing the fight. Maybe it's how they market her somehow. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Either way, Shevchenko wins.
Yeah, for sure. We both got Shevchenko, so we're both in agreement on that. We got Neil Magny and Rafael Dos Anjos in the welterweight division. Dos Anjos' second fight. I'm very excited because I like Rafael Dos Anjos. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of Neil Magny, but
Gazelle, dude, I love him.
I don't see how Dos Anjos wins this fight. Magny's reach is going to be a huge issue.
I think it is, and Magny is getting better and better at using his reach and using his push kick and keeping the guys at distance. Dos Anjos' best chance is to get Magny on his back, but Magny's jiu-jitsu is no joke. Like, he's got legit jiu-jitsu skills.
Well, and I think Dos Anjos' jiu-jitsu is obviously better, but it's Magny's reach and his legs when he's on his back. He's going to keep Dos Anjos from being able to get any significant ground and pound going off if he does get him on the ground.
Yeah, keep at least a half butterfly or real.
We saw what happened with Johnny Hendricks.
Control. Yeah, exactly.
The leg reach, the length of his legs was just too much for Hendricks to overcome, and I think it's going to be the same thing with Dos Anjos.
Yeah, I got Magny again. I like Dos Anjos, but I got Magny in this one winning a decision.
I do too. I don't see him stopping Dos Anjos. I'd be very surprised.
Dude, El Kakui couldn't do it, man.
Yeah, and Eddie Alvarez got lucky.
Yeah, I think. I don't want to say a USADA thing about Dos Anjos as far as like drug use, but maybe the lack of rehydration. It almost seemed like he was just too drained from that weight cut.
Well, no, it's USADA. It's not the drugs. It's just not being able to use
the
IV.
IV ban.
Yeah,
whatever it was, is he was missing something, and yeah, I'm not. I have no speculation that he's on any kind of performance enhancers, but I'm just saying post USADA as far as rehydration methods, no IVs.
I mean, it's not like he wasn't missing weight. He wasn't missing weight even after USADA. I mean, not like a Johnny Hendricks, but yeah, it's totally the IV for sure.
Yeah, it was something, and I think it was a good move for him at 170. He looks great.
He did look great in his 170 debut. I thought it was a great fight for him.
Yeah.
Especially against a former champion and Strikeforce welterweight champion. So,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he looked great.
He looked good. Give him against a guy like Magny, who's been a perennial contender up in that top 10 spot.
He's definitely a top 10 fighter for sure. Yeah.
So let's throw him up there with Dos Anjos and see how you do, because Dos Anjos deserves that opportunity as a lightweight, former lightweight champ. So yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. Great card.
I think if he would have moved up after he lost the title,
yeah,
he probably would have gotten some higher ranked opponents, but then he had that loss to El Kukui, kind of dropped him down a little bit in the eyes of a lot of people. So,
yep, I can see that too.
Yeah, for sure. Next fight, light heavyweight, Ilir Latifi, Tyson Pedro. Neither of these guys are contenders, but this is going to be a fight that will not go to the distance at all.
That ends quickly.
Yeah, it will. It will end in the first round in my mind, and I am leaning towards Tyson Pedro.
I'm kind of leaning towards Latifi, but I'm straddling the fence. 6-0 for a reason, man.
Yeah, and his ground game is great, but the strike, he's got power in his strikes. That he uses his power in his strikes to set up his ground game. And Ilir Latifi is susceptible to getting hit. He does not have great defense. He has pretty decent wrestling, but his defense leaves a lot to be desired. And this is going to be his first fight in over a year since that knockout to Ryan Bader, which was one of the most vicious knee knockouts I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I thought he broke his entire face. MVPs was maybe the worst against Cyborg Santos.
Oh, no, maybe about it. The guy almost killed him. That's for sure.
and he was going to fight again, and then I think he was going to get something booked. And then he thought against it, and he's just going to do grappling or something.
Yeah, I was going to say MVP killed Evangelista Cyborg's career, and for the better, because he was just a journeyman. He was just taking too much punishment. So
he was a jobber, but yeah, he was always fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, he's still a great grappler, so he used to do grappling tournaments and
So this fight could go either way. I'm leaning towards Pedro. You're leaning towards Latifi. By the time the fight comes up, who knows who I'm going to end up picking with? I'm not making a definitive pick on this. But the next fight is very exciting. The opener for the main card, Jeremy Stephens against making his featherweight debut, Gilbert Melendez, and I was excited about this 6 years ago because I thought Gilbert Melendez was always an undersized lightweight. I thought he should have dropped to featherweight. Obviously, during that time, I was just mentioning he was still dominating the lightweight division. But I thought he was always undersized, and he would have been well suited for the featherweight division. We're getting it now, so hey, better late than never. I just have a problem
who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, who the fuck is that guy? I just have a problem seeing how Gilbert wins this fight. Jeremy Stephens is more acclimated to the featherweight division, has power. I just don't see Melendez winning this. I think Melendez got issues, man.
He's got to wrestle him, but Jeremy's got good, strong hips, a decent takedown defense. He wants to stand and bang, and he's a sprawl and brawl, right? Mm-hmm. Melendez is going to be bigger a little bit, I think, but he's going to be a little bit slower. The only way Gilbert wins this is on his chin and backing Jeremy up. And
but how good is his chin dropping that extra 10 pounds is the question.
That's why I'm not saying with all the piss and vinegar of this he's going to do it. This is the way I see him winning it, but can he? No. I sometimes feel like when people they do a drop in weight, they feel like they're weak at that previous weight, right? Like Melendez was kicking everybody's ass. Yeah. And then now he's like, dude, they're all stronger than me. Well, I'm going to go down to 45 where I'm going to be stronger. And I think it's going to be eye-opening because Stephens hits like a lightweight, and he's strong in his takedown defense.
Well, when you cut that extra 10 pounds of weight, you also lose a lot of that cushion on your chin. Makes you more susceptible to the knockout.
Yeah, so that's why it's tough. I love Melendez. This is one of those heart versus head things. Nothing against Stephens. We've followed Gilbert's career for how long now?
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to pick Stephens. I think he's going to win by TKO second round.
I don't know if it'll go to TKO depending on how Melendez's gas tank and his chin holds up. I'm tentatively picking decision, but I'm with Stephens as well. Preliminary card, the main event of the Fox Sports 1 preliminary card is Sarah McMahon versus Ketlin Vieira. It's actually a really good fight. Ketlin Vieira made her UFC debut. I believe is on short notice against Kelly Vassals. I'm not positive, If it was on short notice, I know it was against Kelly Fashholz. But she's also defeated our girl Ashley Evans Smith in her last fight by decision back in April. So on that note alone, I'm going to have to pick Sarah McMahon because nobody beats SoCal. But also because I think Sarah McMahon is still a top contender. She's actually looked really good since that loss to Miesha Tate.
Yeah, I think her wrestling wins this fight.
Yeah, for sure. Especially her jiu-jitsu. Her last 2 fights are both arm triangle chokes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's got it. She's learned how to use her great wrestling skills and found transitions into jiu-jitsu now. Because her wrestling has always been impeccable, but now instead of just keeping top position, she's learned how to turn top position into submissions, and she's, head arm triangles from mount. She's getting them from mount and then stepping over. It's freaking awesome. It's beautiful.
And her striking's just grown leaps and bounds. She's starting to put it all together.
Yeah, she's starting to become a complete mixed martial artist.
Exactly, so not just relying on her wrestling. So that's a plus for Sarah McMahon, and I got her winning. And I actually think she finishes with, if not another arm triangle choke, at least a rear naked choke, getting her back.
Yeah, I think she'll get mount and she'll try to roll and turtle up and she'll get the hooks in. Yeah, I could see it. I see another submission.
Next fight down would be Henry Cejudo and Wilson Hayes, both former title challenges to the GOAT, Mighty Mouse.
Both got brutally stopped.
Yeah. Cejudo, I believe, is coming off of what I thought was a bad decision to Joseph Benavidez back in December last year.
Yeah, he lost that fight.
It was close, but I had Cejudo winning that fight, but it was close. Taking on Wilson Hayes, coming off of that first round armbar thrashing to Mighty Mouse. I've got Cejudo winning this fight. And I'm sorry, that was a third round submission for Mighty Mouse. But I've got Cejudo winning this fight without question.
By Greco-Romo?
Yeah, he's going to wrestle him. He's going to take him down, and he's also a way better striker.
I think he's a better boxer.
Easily.
That's easy. His wrestling takedowns are good. Wilson's jiu-jitsu is great, but Henry can probably hold top position. Yeah, he can hold top position and ground and pound him, and I don't see him getting into side control or mount, but I can see him from guard doing some good ground and pound. And clinching up against the fence and wearing Wilson out. His gas tank isn't the greatest at at flyweight, but we'll see.
He's Brazilian, so
they have this thing about stamina. They don't like to run.
Apparently. Next fight down, we're going to talk about it briefly because we've mentioned her quite a few times. Sarah Moraes versus Ashley Evans Smith. I've got Ashley Evans Smith winning this fight. I think she finishes her in the third round.
I think it makes it all the way to the decision.
Very possible as well.
I think Ashley's going to dominate the fight, but just not quite enough to put it away.
Yeah, I think Ashley Evans Smith is going to start coming into her own here pretty soon. People are going to see a lot of great things out of her.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Looking forward to it, but I just think not yet. Not yet. Yeah. She's starting that journey. She's getting there. She'll start finishing them.
And for anybody that doesn't really know Ashley Evans Smith, she was the one in her second pro fight ever that knocked out, TKO'd Fallon Fox, the transgender fighter.
Yeah.
Back when that was a big issue. The man fighting as a woman.
Again, I'm all for transgender rights and all that stuff for sure, but if you grew up into your 20s as a man and
shouldn't be fighting,
to be a woman, you shouldn't be fighting.
That's a lot different.
It's one thing to do it in tennis, but you're not talking about people's lives in tennis,
Just the bone density and everything just makes it impossible for it to be equal.
The bone density is different. Your muscle mass is different. Take hormones, whatever. You're always going to be a man. Like your DNA, I'm going to pull a blood sample and it's going to say, okay, this is a man. It's not going to say woman. Again, look, you become a woman, do all that. I'll call you ma'am. I'm totally game for it, but you shouldn't be fighting. There's reasons why men and women don't fight.
Exactly. I agree.
I don't know. I'm treading the fence on that because I'm definitely pro transgender rights, but
it's a great point. Yeah, as am I. Live your life however you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do if it makes you happy. But when it comes to that situation, no, fighting that. No, I don't think so. But we're gonna move on before we get ourselves into more trouble.
More political hot water again. Headlines, dude. All the rags talking about MMA to the max.
They don't care about us that much. What stupid thing did they say again? I wish they would. That'd be great. Hey, bad news is good news.
Yeah, any publicity is good publicity.
So the last fight on the Fox Sports 1 preliminary, we're not going to talk about the Fight Pass right now because we're not going to go through. The only reason we went through this many fights is because I'm very excited about every fight
it's
right
a
now.
great card, and we're trying to explain that to you guys if you're not aware of what you're going to be missing out on if you don't
making
watch
his second fight, his second appearance in the UFC. He fought back in February 19th. Gavin Tucker, who is one of the most exciting featherweights in the UFC right now, making his debut. He's 10-0. This kid is good. This kid
really
is so good. And I know Sam Cecilia is not great, but he clowned him for 3 straight rounds.
Yep.
He's basically how do I put this? He's a Canadian Conor McGregor in the sense that he can stop you with submissions. Well, okay, maybe not, but he can stop you with his strikes. But he talks shit, and he knows he's better than you.
Yeah, he shit talks like Conor McGregor, but has the skill set of Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, and his striking is ridiculously good. His ground game is ridiculously good. Yeah. Watch out for him in the featherweight division. Gavin Tucker, ladies and gentlemen, that's who you want to keep your eye on this weekend. He is going to make quick work of Rick Glenn. Trust me on this.
That's going to be the fight of, maybe not the fight of the night, but it's going to be the holy fuck of the night. That's going to be the one you're like, dude, did you see what Gavin Tucker just did? That guy didn't even belong in the same room.
Kind of like what happened today with Magomedov Sharapov. It's going to be Gavin Tucker next week. Everybody needs to watch out for him.
But I think it's going to look gruesomer, more gruesome. It's going to look bad. Hey, best of luck, Rick Glenn. 8-8, dude. That's $8,000, bro.
Yeah.
But that's why my hat's off to these guys, man. They do this shit because they love it, and you making $8,000 a fight. It's like, damn.
Well, they got more balls than either of us do, because I mean, they're in there doing it. So that's also all of them, every fighter out there.
Yeah, but that comes back to, dude, like, again, $8,000. This guy's putting his life on the line. Come on, you can compensate him a little bit better than that, can't you? $4 billion. Well,
hopefully, if there's anything to come out of what Conor's doing, at least with boxing and with his entire career, maybe. If anything, hopefully some good comes out of it where other fighters besides him get paid more. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah,
well, at least Diaz got paid more than he's ever going to get paid. And I think other fighters are using that as a template to kind of be just in the same way that Mighty Mouse does. He's like, no, I'm going to be the one and only 11-time defending champ. Go shut your face.
Instead of just going off of money fights. And I am sorry, I know a lot of people want to see Conor and Diaz Part 3 because it's a big money fight. But Diaz does not deserve a shot at the title. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that, and I vehemently disagree with that.
He needs one great fight against a top 7 guy, and then you can justify it. But he needs that entry fight.
Well, I also don't agree with it when you have Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson fighting for an interim title. The champ's first fight should be the interim champion.
The interim champ has to be
hurt. Then Diaz shouldn't get the title shot. It should be a money fight, non-title.
Well, it falls in the same timeline that we're talking about up there at middleweight, right? Bisping can't fight because he's hurt. Interim belt. Okay, interim belt. Bisping, you're going to be healthy to fight on this day. Perfect. 3 months later.
Then he should be fighting Robert Whittaker.
Interim champs.
Yeah, Whittaker got hurt. That's different, though.
So now, like, we don't want to leave this title, unaccounted for. So now here comes the money fight, the GSP fight. Dude, we're all suckers if we don't see this shit. It's as scripted as a WWE.
Okay, so if Kevin Lee or Tony Ferguson come out of their fight in November and say, "Oh, I'm injured," then yeah, maybe. But I mean,
I'm just being skeptical. But I don't see those guys being. But,
and even though Khabib missed weight, didn't make weight for his last fight. I mean, he's still more of a contender than Nate Diaz. He would maul Nate Diaz.
Oh yeah, 100%. It would go all 5 rounds. He's not going to stop Nate Diaz, but it would be some vicious ground and pound with Nate Diaz's open guard and going for submissions and sweeps, which is beautiful. He's great at it, but he's going to take some shots and get bloodied up just because of scar tissue. And I think he's going to have some good submission attempts back. There's going to be good scrambles, but yeah, I think he spends 23 minutes on his back.
Yeah, well, I mean, more power to Conor though, man. He's getting paid, so yeah, more power to him. I can't be mad about him. At that, I guess it's not Conor that I hate. It's Dana White and his biasness. That's what I hate. But
it's how those are reacting to what he's doing. Not necessarily.
But I mean, it is. Conor is the catalyst, so that I'm gonna hate him as well. So. Well,
you're just a hater, bro.
Sorry, man. Sport over spectacle. That's how I've always been. You know that.
Really, guy that followed WWE late into your 30s.
Yeah, I love WWE. I still watch WWE. I separate WWE and UFC though. Sport over spectacle.
Okay.
Sport over spectacle. I would watch a UFC fight over a WWE event any other day.
But you have to admit the draw for MMA fights is closer to WWE pro wrestling than it is boxing.
Yeah.
Boxing
okay.
is
Well,
as
okay. If you want to
much
make
more
that,
meritocracy.
comparison, though, at least the WWE has the written in scripted number one contender fighting for the title, and then the drama comes.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean,
this is the number one contender, man.
yeah. I just want the number one contender to fight the champion. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Yeah. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
That's the thing. This is the thing. Is like we're those bitter fans. We're gonna talk all this shit in the world, but you think we're gonna miss a fight?
Well, no, because I love fights.
We're watching Fight Pass.
Hey, I don't like Connor's.
While we're driving
I don't like
over
Connor
to my brother's
as
house to go swimming.
what they're
Of
doing.
course we're watching
Yeah.
all these fights.
Yeah, I don't
We're
like
gonna
Connor
make a
what he's
bitchy
doing and
drive
all that.
to watch.
But I'm still going to watch him fight because I think he's an exceptional elite athlete.
Yep.
And
well, that's what it is.
I don't root for him to
guys
lose because of him. I root for him to lose because of Dana.
We're the old guys. They're like, oh, the Eagles are going to be shit again this year. They made this trade and that trade, and I would never do these things. This team is going to suck dick. But they show up to every game, preseason or otherwise. That's us, dude.
I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I get it. So, yeah, we're the old men that just yell at the MMA clouds.
Exactly. Why you?
Yeah.
That's just funny.
Good old Simpsons reference there. All right, Joe.
Gotta have them.
I think we've covered everything for the night. Let's throw out some social media and get out of here.
I think we have. You can catch me on Twitter at jhud45. Excuse me, JoeHud45 on Twitter, or on Instagram at MMA to the Max Joe.
And you can catch me at It's Rock Robster on Twitter, and then on Instagram it's at MMA to the Max Rob. We have our Facebook page, facebook.com/MMA to the Max podcast. Find us on there, like the page. You can find all our shows. We also ask a bunch of questions, ask people's predictions, all this good stuff interacting. We're going to start doing some trivia on the page every week just to get some more interaction from everybody. So like the page, hit us up, look out for all that stuff. If you want to find our show, find it on any podcast network you can get. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, Player FM, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Catch us soon on Last Word on Sports, MMAsucka.com, and 4-1mania.com as well. I totally mentioned that earlier. Yes, sir. We are on iHeartRadio.
Sure,
I'm very excited about that. And as always, catch us on our parent website, W2Mnet.com. You can find all sorts of goodies on there from MMA, wrestling, movies, video games, football, soccer, etc. Any sport, any entertainment you like, W2Mnet.com covers it all. Is that it? We good?
I think we're good, my friend. Well done. Yeah, I was going to say about W2Mnet, wrestling, entertainment, and more. It's got it all.
Yes, sir. Check us all out. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Listen, everybody. I am your host, as always, Robert Taylor.
And I'm Joe Hudson.
We'll see you next week.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.